But my point is, it's either too much for one side, not enough for the other. And President Biden, once again, made the case tonight for unwavering support of Israel. This happened in the past hour. Pledged aid, support for Israel, but he also linked it to support for Ukraine.
Yes.
That's why tomorrow I'm going to send to Congress an urgent budget request to fund America's national security needs, to support our critical partners, including Israel and Ukraine. Is a smart investment that's going to pay dividends for American security for generations.
As Sean Spicer was saying, I also saw this on Fox News just now, some expressed sort of horror that he linked Israel to Ukraine because Israel is an unquestionably just cause. But on MSNBC, there were some expressing horror that he linked Israel to Ukraine because Ukraine, not Israel, is the unquestionably just cause. When it comes to Israel, though, his comments are almost exactly what I would think most Republicans are saying as well. They can't say that because these days the opposing party isn't allowed to agree on anything. They can't even support the president with whom they agree in a time of crisis. And so even before he linked it to Ukraine, they found a way to attack him about Iran. And this started really almost immediately after Hamas attacked Israel in some of the most vicious ways.
Joe Biden has blood on his hands. His weakness invited the attack. His cash giveaways to Iran helped fund terrorism.
The administration is lying. They're gaslighting the world, saying that this $6 billion isn't going to fall into the hands of terrorists and benefit them. We certainly know that it will.
Even if Iran didn't specifically know about this attack ahead of time, I'm sure it's true that they directly or indirectly helped these terrorists in some ways. And you can argue that thinking they have access to those unfrozen humanitarian funds allows the Iranians to spend elsewhere, like on terrorism. But this isn't productive. The notion that the unfreezing of the funding changed anything is totally unsupported. And that agreement has been effectively canceled anyway. And tonight, he did talk about Iran.
Iran is supporting Russia in Ukraine, and it's supporting Hamas and other terrorist groups in the region, and will continue to hold them accountable, I might add.
And even before the speech, Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn already criticizing the president, saying to hold that aid hostage by linking it with a myriad of other issues, including bailout for sanctuary cities and more money for Ukraine, is irresponsible. Look, she may have a point about the linking of the two. But what is clear, Sean Spicer making the same point, but what is clear is that he can't win with Republicans, no matter what he does or says. But then you have certain Democrats, like Rashida Tlaib on the far left, who refuses to support Israel no matter what.
I'm not going to forget this. And I think a lot of people are not going to forget this. President Biden, not all America's with you on this one. And you need to wake up and understand that.
Then there's Cori Bush introducing a ceasefire now resolution, which supports assistance to Gaza. Congressman Ilhan Omar posting on X, instead of continuing unconditional weapons sales and military aid to Israel, I urge the United States at long last to use its diplomatic might to push for peace. Democratic support for Israel has plummeted over the past 2 decades. In 2001, 51% of Democrats sympathized with Israel, compared to 16% with the Palestinians. Fast forward to March of this year, 49% supported Palestinians, just 38% supported Israelis. The president's speech tonight followed his 7-hour trip to Tel Aviv this week to show his support to the Israeli people, but it's unlikely to even move the needle here at home. New ABC poll found 41%, just 41% of Americans approve of Biden's handling of the war. That seems stunningly low, given how much unequivocal support he's shown for Israel almost from the start, and that's a very popular position. If you dig deeper, 50% of Republicans think the U.S. isn't doing enough to support Israel, many of them citing the $6 billion deal with Iran, and you have Democrats, 19% of them think the U.S. is doing too much. Together, it leaves a weak coalition of support. And yet, another hurdle for Biden coming not only from within his own party, but from within his own administration. Today, a State Department official who worked at the Bureau of Political Military Affairs resigned over Biden's handling of the conflict, saying, I recognize the Israeli government's right to respond and to defend themselves. Here comes the but. I guess I question how many Palestinian children have to die in that process, which means he doesn't support their right to defend themselves. In May of 2021, The Washington Post revealed that more than 500 Biden campaign and Democratic Party staffers signed a letter pressuring him to do more to protect Palestinians. So he's walking this tightrope within his party, many Democrats calling him too pro-Israel. And this comes back to my point. And here's where I'm going to give Sean Spicer the point to disagree with me on this. It seems that he can't win. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.